Hey guys, Mr. Case here. So parents, in the NTI packets that you picked up the other day, should have been a letter in the folders that they received from me that looks like this. So for that letter, it's kind of telling you like the things I'm going to do to help you and your students while we're in these times of non-traditional instruction. But it also just kind of gives you different stuff, and also has my name and number on it and my email. Honestly, you can reach me at any time of the day right now. I always got my cell phone on me, and right now with everything going on, I don't really have much to do besides work at home or at school. So if you need to get a hold of me, don't hesitate to call. If you got a question, don't hesitate to call. But now we're going to talk about the back of the letter. So it's here. It talks about accommodations. So any accommodations your student receives should be highlighted on the back. I'm just going to run down through the accommodations real quick to maybe clear up any questions you guys have, and obviously if you have any further questions that don't answer it in this video, just go ahead and shoot me an email or call me, either or. So the first accommodation is a reader. So read all materials to or with the student. I'll be honest with you, I'll be a little flexible in homework with this one. Like if one of your students has one of the alternative reading assignments I stuffed in there, like, you know, there's videos where I'm reading it that they can go to, they'll listen to that first, which might help them, and then they'll go back and read it themselves. You know, I'm helping accommodate them by reading it first to kind of help them with those difficult words that they might not know, but the idea is I want them to practice reading. But since this is an accommodation they do get, parents, if you want to read it with them or to them, that's perfectly fine. I will leave that to your judgment. But once again, if you want them to kind of like practice, or maybe say, I'm going to read this sentence, but I want you to read the next two sentences, that is totally fine. Accommodation 2 is paraphrasing. So use different words to help the student understand what they are reading. So this doesn't necessarily mean like you're reading a multiple choice question to them. You're changing the question. That's not paraphrasing. What paraphrasing is if I read the directions to you, I'm going to kind of clear it up, help you out. Like, so on a homework assignment, you know, directions might say, step 1 tells you do this, step 2 says that. You can kind of clear it up and be like, all right, break into smaller sections. Like, first, you're going to do this. You can change the words up a little bit. That's really all paraphrasing is. Just want to make sure, you know, if it's a multiple choice question on a homework assignment, we're not changing the question to make it easier for them. So we still want to see what they can comprehend or what they know. The idea is to make the directions of the assignment easier for them to understand. Accommodation number 3 is reinforcement. Say words that encourage students to try their best. I mean, this is one of the easier ones to do. You know, obviously, I'm a big fan of positive reinforcement. Just even little things, you know, like if your student at home, let's say they struggle with reading, if they pronounce a hard word right, you know, just a simple "good job." That's all it takes. Just a little reinforcement. And even then, if that's not an accommodation a student doesn't get, it doesn't hurt to tell them "good job." Builds their confidence. Accommodation 4 is manipulatives. So objects used to help teach. They give a good example on this one. For example, counters for math. Many objects at home can be used as manipulatives, such as pennies, spoons, or buttons. So, and I have some manipulatives that I sent home with kiddos. Some kids got a touch math strip that I actually have a video that explains that, so you can actually use that video too as a manipulative to kind of help with math. But also, like the example says, so you know, you can use pennies like good example. We're talking division. If you happen to have lying around, like, say, you get a problem that's 63 divided by 9. You happen to have 63 pennies around, because division's a tough one, especially for like 4th graders. You can tell them, like, all right, well, so we got to see how many times 9 can go into 63, so let's make 9 groups from the 63. You can use the pennies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one group. And then that way it makes it easier, gives the kids visuals to make the work easier. Okay. Accommodation number 5 is alternate location. So student works in a quiet place with very little distractions. I know this one can be tough depending on what home's like. I don't know how many kids you have at home. If you have like 5, that's going to be very difficult. But just give them a quiet place. I mean, that's just like for somebody like me and you, or some of my colleagues. I work better in a quiet place. I actually work better in my classroom after hours when school's out than I do coming home. Because it's more quiet, there's less distractions. That's all that one is. Accommodation 6 is a scribe. So adult writes any words, sentences, or paragraphs the student tells you to write. Must be exactly what the student would write if they were able to write the assignment on their own. You can decide to have a student write a response on the NTI work packet. So this one I would use at your discretion. If it's a short sentence, you can have them write it. Especially on, with my assignments, like I want them to get that practice. But like some of those longer responses, absolutely I want you to write it for them, because then that makes it easier for them, and it makes it easier for them to express what they know. Now, the thing with this though is, and just remind them when you're writing, it's good practice for like when we get to the state assessment. They're writing to you. If it's the end of a sentence, remind them, like, all right, what do I put at the end of the sentence? They should tell you, period, question mark, exclamation mark, etc. And then don't forget to also tell them, all right, how do we start the sentence? What do I do with that first letter in the first word? You got to capitalize it. Just kind of remind them that, but make sure you're writing down what they are saying. Don't change it to what you think they meant. Keep it to what they said. Because that's how we can tell and assess what they know and how they tell us what they know. Accommodation 7 is a calculator. That one's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't happen to have a calculator at home, or the only one you have is on your phone, but you need your phone, just give me a call and I can actually deliver a calculator to you. I have plenty in my room, so just let me know about that. Accommodation 8, work breaks. It's again self-explanatory. If you work, then you might get a 15-minute break. It's kind of nice to get that break in between work. It gives you a chance to blow off some steam, kind of step away from it. Because if you're sitting there constantly doing all this work and you've been at it for like an hour and a half, for a student in the 3rd or 4th grade, that can seem like a long time. So it's okay to split up the work into little chunks. Maybe let them, hey, go get a snack, or hey, why don't you get up and walk around the room for a minute, or even like hey, why don't you take a 10-minute break, go watch a video, play with a toy or something, just a little break, kind of get away from their work for a minute. So then when they come back, give them a second to let them readjust, but it kind of clears their mind, wakes them up a little bit, just gets them back in the flow. And then 9 is use of technology. So use of any technology device student may use at school. I don't believe there's any kids on my caseload that have this accommodation. If they do, just give me a call, because that's more of a specific accommodation that I would have to discuss into greater detail instead of on this video. So those are the accommodations. Once again, if you have any further questions that this video did not answer, shoot me an email, give me a call. I'm available all times of the day. Um, Thanks for watching, guys, and please stay safe during these times. And I'll see you in other videos.